Hi everyone, I'm JD from Willow Band Journals, and today I'm going to be answering all your questions from the giveaway video that I put up quite a while ago now. My apologies, this answering your questions video has come quite late, but I thought I'd put it up now because my aim was to get it up before the end of the year. And while I answer your questions, it's going to be a very long, chatty video, so feel free to grab something yummy to eat or a nice drink. Or craft along with me, gather your supplies. And just in the background, I have this, sometimes I pre-film videos that I know are going to be long in case I know I have a long video to film in terms of doing a voiceover. So I had this one up my sleeve. It's from over a year ago now, where I made a whole bunch of fairy tale journals in bulk. So you'll see me arranging all the pages and that kind of thing here. So you just got something to watch in the background if you would like. But let me start off with congratulating the three lovely ladies who won the giveaways. There were three, one for subscribers, one for patrons, and one for members. All the journals were sent to each of the lovely ladies. So I hope you absolutely love those journals and get much joy out of them and have fun filling them up and making them your own. Okay, so the first question comes from Sandra, and she says, would you consider making a document journal and do a tutorial showing how you would put it together and decorate it? Yes, I answered your request and filmed a start to finish series making a vintage French document journal, which was really fun on my channel. And then she says, I know you have a lot of digitals with papers that you can use in a document journal, but maybe a document journal kit and do a tutorial on putting it together and how you would decorate it. So you've given me a wonderful challenge for next year. I love that idea of creating a specific vintage document kit that people can then follow along with me making the same journal. I've done this in the past with quite a few different kits. One was, the first one I did, I believe, was some art papers. The second one was a bohemian journal. And the third one, we did quite a few of these of various vintage French collage journals, paper bag one and a book cover one with multi-signatures and a single signature one. So all of those kits were available in my Etsy, well they still are, and people could follow along those videos anytime, especially made those videos for beginners so they could follow step by step with the same supplies that I'm using. So I haven't done that for quite a while, so I love this idea of creating a specific document journal kit because I have plenty of vintage document papers and ephemera in my Etsy as printables, but not a specific one where it's a kit designed to follow along with a start to finish tutorial. So I will definitely look into that next year. And then she also asks, can you help give some ways you learned how, where to pick up your ledgers and documents like that? I've seen where you have gone to antique shops. I've looked in my area and I can't seem to find anything of the older papers of any kind. Can you help give some examples of different places a person can pick up and find the older ledgers when they're not easily found in the area? And so yes, I also answered that question in that video series, making the vintage French document journal. But basically, if I don't get them from vintage places or op shops, that's the other place I get them, either vintage shops or op shops, which you would call thrift shops in America. The other place is just online because I live in a small country town. There's no craft stores here or anything like that. I don't think I find much. I've never found a ledger here, only the occasional vintage pieces up here. So most of my shopping is online through either eBay. I've gotten vintage pieces from eBay in the past, but usually my go-to is Etsy, because I just find Etsy as if you're op shopping, because you type in what you're looking for and you see what comes up, and it's always different every time because people keep on putting up new things and it's just a treasure hunt. So Etsy definitely. And I love it. It's so fun. I'm usually on there multiple times a week just looking around at different things that Etsy has. I rarely buy anything, especially this year with my kind of rule where I don't buy a craft item unless I'm replacing one or need it for my journal making for my business. My exceptions are if I'm going to like a fancy one-off trip to a vintage store or something like that. So yeah, I hope that answers that question. And then the next question comes from Xenia, which is, do you think West Coast Eagles will improve next year? And are you excited about the number one pick we currently have? So Xenia is my fellow Eagles fan. For those who don't know, the AFL, Aussie Rules Football, love it. I was a Melburnian. I still am a Melburnian. I say that I'm a Melburnian living in Queensland, but I'm definitely from the culture of footy, and I am an Eagles fan. I used to follow it a lot in Melbourne. I would watch every game. I would listen to games on the radio if they weren't broadcasted on TV. I would follow everything, coaches, players, all that stuff. But when I'm in Queensland, they are into NRL, not AFL. And so I don't really see much at all with AFL. I only watched 2 AFL games this year, the grand final and the Anzac Day match, which I love watching that one. So I don't know anything about the number one pick or anything. And all I know is Eagles did not do well this year. So I hope they will improve. I definitely hope they will improve. But I'm good. We have won 4 premierships, and 2 of them I was definitely old enough to really appreciate. 2 of them they won when I was a kid. Didn't really take it in very well as a kid. Like, I was excited, but the 2 later ones, I was just loving it. And every Christmas, I have a tradition where I watch the Eagles game, one of the premierships, at least one of the premierships. So this year, I am actually filming this voiceover on Christmas Eve. And so tomorrow, I do plan to watch the 2018 grand final, Eagles versus Collingwood, and that's just one of my traditions on Christmas Day. So very excited about that. The next question is, how many journals have you made so far? And I actually keep a record of this. Some of you might have seen my little notebook where I write down all of the journals that I make. So I'm just going to flip to the page where I am up to, and the current count is 1,304 journals. So that is really fun. So the next question is, tell me something about your personal life, work, family, where you are from, etc. So that's a lot of things, but I'll just be brief. Like I said, I'm a Melburnian living in Queensland, Australia. I moved up here because of the sun and the beaches and the weather, and I've almost been here now 10 years, but I will still always call Melbourne home for sure. I work full-time with Willowbound Journals, my small business, and yeah, it's so fun to be able to create for a living, making journals and teaching journaling courses. I don't usually talk about my family too much or people in my personal life, just, to protect people's privacy. But I will say that I am the youngest of 3 children. I have an older sister and an older brother. So I always say I have the best of both worlds. And I would say that our family, all of us, have, when I think about like our family culture and our family ethic, we all tend to be hard workers, tend to be workaholic type nature. I think we tend to always have a project on the go, high achievers, and also I would say all of us are quite, fairness and decency and that kind of thing is part of all of us. This person also asks, where can I find your free digital kits? And by the way, did you know that I can download almost all your digitals for free because there's no watermark on the images? So first of all, my free digital kits, they're available on my Patreon. So you don't need to become a patron. You just access the freebies by scrolling down and looking for them, or using the tab that says freebie. I also put some on my Buy Me a Coffee page. Some are on the community page of my YouTube channel. Some are on Facebook in the Willowbound Journals Facebook group page. Some are on Instagram. So they're a bit all over the place, but the one consistent place where I put all of them, that's on my Patreon. And I've recently just started a Willow Mail, email list where I can send printables to. But yeah, the main one where the catch-all, where they all go, is my Patreon. And yes, some people have, throughout my foray into the small business world on Etsy with creating printables and things like that, have messaged me with concern saying, did you know that people can download your images for free because there's no watermark? And I don't know if I've got the right attitude being like a small business owner. I don't have a business brain. And so even though people have told me that, what I've always replied is I leave it between them and their conscience, and choose to trust in the integrity of people, that if it's a paid kit, they will either pay for it or not download it for free. And if someone wasn't aware of this kind of policy or ethics of it all, and you have downloaded something that was a paid kit, but you thought, oh, it has no watermark, so I'll just download it anyway, I would just say the ethical or best thing to do then, once you've become aware of it, that's not the thing to do, to just delete your files that you have them, so that you don't use them, or go ahead and purchase them and continue using them. So, and even if you're using those digitals only for personal use, doesn't matter. If they're paid kits for any person who you find selling printables, you can't use them for personal use either, if you just download them for free when they're a paid kit. I would have thought that would have gone kind of without saying, but not so naive, I guess, to think that that doesn't happen ever. But I choose to believe or trust that it's not happening so much that I need to do anything about it. I choose to believe that people would have my best interest at heart too, and for those who maybe have downloaded them and haven't paid for them, I'm choosing to think that they just weren't aware that that wasn't on. And if they were aware, they wouldn't do it. Anyway, if it did become an issue, then I would probably then have to look into finding out the tech of how to add a watermark and do all of that. But anyway, the next question is, what is your camera and filming setup? So I do have a video on that if you would like to check that out. I have this wooden frame with a slot for either my iPhone, or I just have this box that I rest my iPad on top of. So yeah, I either use my iPhone or iPad to film, and then I can only film at certain times of the day, in the morning and afternoon. Otherwise, it either gets too bright that you can't see anything with the sun streaming through the window, or then too dark, obviously, with the shadows and everything. So maybe one day I would love to get a ring light so that I could film at all times of day. At the other house that I lived in, I was able to film at night, and because I'm a night owl, that suited me better. But here, it's kind of the opposite. I have to film in the mornings, and at nighttime, that's just not an option. So anyway, maybe a ring light would be great one day. And yeah, the wooden frame isn't ideal because it limits my space, my materials and things on my desk. So I would love to, in the future, maybe get some sort of arm like metal arm or something that the device attaches to, so that it just sits above my desk and it doesn't limit my space working on my desk. Oh, I just realised I skipped over some of the video requests, so I'll just go back and refer to those. Sheila said she'd love to see how I make Daphne's Diary journals from the start. Well, I did that for you. By far the most requests and things that people liked the most were my Daphne's Diary videos, and so I made a Daphne's Diary journal from start to finish in one video, specifically for all those people who requested a Daphne's Diary video showing how I make a journal out of the magazine. And Xenia's video request was more Journal With Me videos, and so I filmed some Journal With Me videos just for you, Xenia, as well. And now whenever I do film a Journal With Me episode, I'm thinking specifically of you, Xenia. Another request was to see a video where, this was another one to see a journal made from scratch with Daphne's Diary. So met that one, yay! And then another request was to see videos about what to make with kits, like the Daphne's Diary paper pocket or the Your Creative Studio boxes. I've never had the Daphne's Diary paper pocket, but out of all of the things in their shop, that's the one I would love the most. So I'm wondering if they might send it to me one time, because they've sent me all sorts of fun goodies. It's always a mystery what they send me. They've sent me the magazines, all 8 of them, for the last 2 years, and occasionally they'll send me some extra bonus goodies. And I keep wondering, will they ever send me the paper pocket one day? But I have got the Your Creative Studio boxes many times gifted to me. And so I have made journals out of those and used pieces from those boxes to embellish tags, journal cards, envelopes. So I do have a whole bunch of videos based on that as well. And I think I made some, that's right, I made a collection of hydrangea journals with the latest box. So that was to meet your video request, to show what I make out of that box. Let's see, another video request is to see more videos on junk journal ephemera and making covers. So yes, I have been doing more tutorials recently to meet these requests, to see more ephemera. So we've got a whole bunch of ones making some tags and journal cards and little mini booklets and all sorts of things, collages. I don't think I've done a specific cover one since these requests. Like, I've done plenty of cover videos in the past, but not since these requests for the giveaway. So I will look into doing that next year and showing some different ways I like to make my covers and all that kind of thing. The next request is to see more of the ephemera tutorials, like collage tags. So that was from Cassie. And Cassie, I filmed some videos specifically for you with my collage tags. I did some out of scraps and some out of vintage French ephemera and some with wallpaper, all collage. And she says, I did not know what my junk journal theme was until I saw your videos. Then I was like, that is my theme. I love that. That is so cool. I love that we share the same theme. And she asks, how many journals do you work on at one time? I'm assuming this is in reference to journals that I make. And yeah, I like the idea of making one journal at a time, but I tend to have so many on the go. At one stage this year, I reckon I would have had at least 20 journals on the go, because it's not that hard. I've got 12 vintage French journals on the go right now. I was hoping to finish them this year, but they're not going to get finished till next year. I also had 12 Edith Holden monthly journals on the go. So right there, that's already 24 journals. And I had more on the go too. Like, those are my collections that I had on the go. I also have other ones where there's just 2 or 3 or 1 of each type of journal. And I don't know, I like having multiple journals around me so that whatever mood I feel like, I can work on that journal. And so that's one way I stay out of a creative rut, I guess. I get questions about that all the time, is I create what I feel like. If I don't feel like creating, or if a specific craft project isn't engaging me at the time, I won't do it. I'll do what is engaging me. So if I have multiple projects on the go, I'll just choose the one that I feel like doing at the time. Thankfully, being the end of the year, I have I've got the 12 vintage French journals plus 5 others on the go that I'll finish next year. All right, the next question. Oh, this is my favourite question of the whole lot. Lovely Cheryl. First of all, she says she's really enjoying my videos where I show my entire process of making a journal over time over on my Patreon. So for those who don't know, every single month I've been sharing a start to finish journal making series, which often has maybe 6 to 10 videos in each series that I put out over the month. And we've done Daphne's diary journals, Edith Holden journals, vintage sewing, bird, botanical journals, all sorts of journals, and it's been really fun. It's been a great addition to my Patreon and to my journal making and my business this year. And it's been so great hearing all the feedback from people saying they've really enjoyed those series, so much so that I have decided to continue with that next year. In fact, I've already filmed the entire series for January, so I am ahead. Yay. So I'm so glad you're enjoying them, Cheryl, because she says I would watch more of those. So I'm like, yay, well, I've already filmed the next one for January, and I will keep doing more for the rest of the year. And patrons, let me know if you have any requests of what type of journals you'd like me to make from start to finish. And then she goes on to say that she would actually watch all of my videos, so she is a super fan. And she says that in her own words, she says, and yes, I am a super fan. I love that, because I am a super fan of psychology in Seattle. And if you're going to watch every video, all the different types, because I put a range of different types of videos on my channel, then I definitely know you're a super fan and not just here for like the craft, or just here for the journal stuff, or just here for the tutorials, but you're here for the everything. And so she also says, yeah, I'm a super fan of your videos where you share different ways to use our journals. And that's music to my ears, because I always say this, as much as I love making journals and teaching people how to make them, what I love more is using my journals and teaching people to use their journals. So good. She says, your courses are meaningful and fabulous. Oh, thank you so much, Cheryl. Thank you. Love doing life with you and journaling with you through the courses. Love it. And her question, love this question so much. So right up my alley. Love this. She says, you continue to set life goals and make them a reality. What is your next big life goal? And what ideas do you have for upcoming journal courses? So my next big life goal is pretty much just to publish my book that I've been working on all year. I was hoping to get it published by the end of this year, but I still have almost half the pages to go. I've done all the words, and it's just the artwork I need to do for the pages, and then the tech aspect of editing photos and formatting them, designing the book, and all that kind of thing before I'm able to publish it. So I'm very excited. Early next year, hoping it will be released into the world. And my ideas for upcoming journal courses, I've got so many ideas. Oh my goodness. But of course, the big one is the Everything Journal course, which starts January 1st, along with the Intentional Life course, which is now part of the Everything Journal course. But people can just take the Intentional Life course in January if they only want to do that. For the Everything Journal course, that one will run January through to December. It is an art and writing course for self-discovery and to help us live more meaningful, intentional lives with connection and community, and get time for reflection, time for journaling, time for creativity, so that we can live our most creative lives and be more of ourselves on our pages, which allows us to be more of ourselves in the world. So I've been working so hard on this course, and I am loving it because I'm so inspired. I believe in it, and I have already done 3 Zoom calls with some of the ladies who will be taking the course next year, and some of them who have been doing the taster course in December, who have helped me to workshop this course. And it's just been so fun, and just seeing where everyone is coming from and why they're doing this course. Everyone comes to it with their own reasons, and it's just amazing. I'm already so excited for this course and what it will do, and looking forward to seeing how people grow and how they change from the start of the year to the end of the year through having a journaling and creative practice. So yeah, if you'd like to be part of it, feel free to email me. That's where I send you all the info and the Zoom links if you want to be part of the Zoom calls. There'll be at least 2 every month for those who want to join them, and there'll be 2 to 3 video prompts that will be creative prompts, focusing on creative techniques and that kind of thing, as well as, journaling prompts and all that good stuff. So very, very, very excited about that course. The next question is, what is your biggest pet peeve about junk journaling? I don't know if I have any really. I guess maybe I'm not really into fussy cutting. I don't really enjoy fussy cutting. Or maybe when it comes to coffee dyeing paper, it's kind of discouraging for me because I make a lot of journals. I coffee dye a lot of paper, like 200 plus pages in one go, and you might think that's a lot, but it goes so quick, and it's just such a process. I have to do so many coffee dyeing papers. I wish I could just do one batch that could last the year. That would be amazing, but no. This person also asks, can you do a video on how to use book pages that are brittle and break when folded? So I could get around to doing that. I'll just have to find the right types of pages. But basically, it's really simple. I wasn't sure if I would film a video on this just because it wouldn't be very long. It might just be like 1 minute, literally, because I can just say it as easily here. I either use washi tape, sticky tape, masking tape. Masking tape is my current favorite choice, and just place it along the spine where it folds and has the crease and hinges, and that reinforces the brittle pages. So that's all I do. Or I glue it onto a blank piece of paper, for example, a coffee dyed page, just to thicken it up a little bit and make it a bit more sturdy. So if you still want a video about that, let me know. But otherwise, it's really, really simple. Just essentially add a strip of tape down the spine. Next question or request is, I would love to see a video of your space and have your face in one of the videos to match the voice. Although we know what you look like from the pics in your journals, but have you on camera maybe for a Q&A. So maybe this will change in the future, but I've always had it that I wouldn't show my face on my channel, again, just for privacy reasons and my own comfort zone. Maybe it goes back to me being teased and all that kind of thing in school, and being self-conscious of my appearance growing up all through primary school and high school, and maybe that's part of the reason why I am reluctant to show my face on my channel. But yeah, I reserve that for patrons. So patron videos occasionally show my face, and now that I have YouTube membership that I started this year, I am able to show my face on those videos as well, because it just feels a bit safer and more comfortable to me among friends who I know, if these people are supporting me, I know that they would have my best interests at heart and they like me, I guess, rather than just opening myself up to anyone and anyone in the public who might tease or not like me or whatever. Not that might happen, but everyone has their own insecurities and all those kind of things. And again, just privacy in general is something that I am conscious of with my channel. If you see my journals, I cover up any images, like the faces of other people. I don't mind showing my face in the photos. It's just something different. I don't know. It's like, well, I was never into public speaking because people are looking at me. I don't like people looking at me. Same thing like ties in, like I was talking about earlier on my channel, how I was in a dance concert this year, and I don't enjoy dance concerts, and maybe part of the reason is because I don't like people looking at me when I'm performing on a stage. It's just like I'd rather just dance in class or at home in my room where no one's like looking at me. So same kind of thing with my channel. I'm happy talking to you, but not having you like look at me. I get self-conscious if people are looking at me, and I feel like lots of people could relate to that. But yeah, I know that's not everyone, and I love seeing other people, my favorite journal makers or favorite YouTubers. I enjoy seeing their face, so I get it. I totally get that some people really want that. Not everyone does, but some people find it's a great way to feel like you know the person and connect with them in a greater way. So I do know that that's like pros and cons. That's one of the cons about not showing your face, but at the same time, you know, I got to have my own things in place that make me feel safe and comfortable, and that's all any of us can do. Whatever it is that you can do to make yourself feel safe and comfortable, do that, no matter what anyone thinks about that. Okay, so next question is how have you found your own style? This lady says, I do feel a bit like I try to mimic styles sometimes, and it doesn't feel as satisfying as it does when I'm doing my own thing. Yet I'm not positive what my own thing is yet. Sure, I would get a lot of questions about this early on my channel about style, and I guess it's because I talked about that quite a bit when I first started making journals. I didn't know my style either. I'm like, I've got no idea what I'm even doing. I'm just having fun putting things together, and I've got no idea about my style. But all I can say is repetition. Do it over and over and over again. Try everything and anything that interests you, that you like. Keep doing it over and over again, and you'll naturally find your style. There's no shortcut, I think, to finding your style. It's just over and over again, and then you naturally find it that way. You don't have to try too hard to find it, like force it to happen. Again, it will naturally happen if you just keep going at it over and over again. Maybe that's something else you want to hear, because that can be a long process. Or you might, I don't know, that you might just find, everyone's different. You might just find, oh, you make this one type of journal, like that's it, that's my style, yay! But you have to try it first. So I would recommend, try everything and anything that interests you, and keep going. Just make as many as you can. If it gives you joy, just keep making them, and you'll find your style. She says, I love learning about the process of journaling, including supply organization and journal prep. I feel like I have a lot of supplies, but I also have them somewhat put away and don't easily access them. So little tip there. That was me when I first started. Again, because, I'm like, how do I arrange everything? How do I organize it all? And I would put it away and think I would use it. But if I put it away and I can't see where something is, I forget about it and I don't use it. Or even if it's just hard to reach, I might know it's there, but it's just too hard to access. So my thing that I've learned over the years is the things that I want to use, I put them within arm's reach and right in front of me so I can see them. So those things stay on my desk, right in front of me, arm's reach, super easy to get, don't have to move my chair, don't have to stretch my arm, and that's the only way I will tend to use things. Otherwise, I just, too hard, won't use it, will forget about it, that kind of thing. And the other thing is, obviously I can't put everything on my desk within arm's reach, so I have a place for everything. Everything has its own basket or drawer or box, and that way I know where everything is. So that's one way I hope helps you out there to organize your supplies and help with being able to access them. So the next question request is, I would like to see a view on your workspace. So I do have videos on that. Again, showing my filming setup, and I have quite a few craft room tours. which show my workspace, and I am aiming to film an updated craft room tour for 2024, at the beginning of 2024. So I'm spending, actually today, I just put up a members video showing a behind the scenes look, or a before look at my messy room. On my channel, you've probably only ever seen it clean and tidy, because when I do the craft room tours, it's right after I've organised things the way I want it. So for my members, I put up a short video just showing my entire room and the mess. And then I'll do the after video, hopefully really early on in the start of 2024, to show you my updated room tour. So today, I was just decluttering, organising, cleaning my room. I got most of it done. I think I only need one more day to get it done. So that will be a task before the end of the year. She says she has a tiny workspace, so she's always looking for inspiration. And totally get it. My workspace is my bedroom. I love the idea of having your own craft room, as I know lots of people have. YouTube makes you think that lots of people have it, a separate craft room. That would be amazing. That would be my dream, to have a little craft studio. But my office and my craft room is all in my bedroom. So I totally understand about small workspaces. So that's why I have stackable drawers, stackable baskets, lots of shelves, and that's how I am able to store all my supplies in a small space. Let me have a look here. The question she has for me is, what is your favourite childhood memory? One that if there were a time machine, you'd love to go back and experience again. Goodness. Oh, I'm not so good with these time travel questions. But I would maybe either go for two that are just jumping to my mind, either, and I'm not sure, does childhood encompass high school age? When I was 14? No, that's teenagerhood, isn't it? Oh well, I'll just mention this one anyway. When I was 14, my sister had her 21st, it was Boxing Day. So for the millennium, New Year's Eve, she had her 21st on New Year's Eve for the millennium, so 1999, and so it was a big deal. It was like a New Year's Eve party / 21st party, and right after Christmas, all of the things, and it was a masquerade. So everyone dressed up and wore these beautiful masks and everything, and it was my very first all-nighter, and there was delicious food and fun music, and I just remember that was my first best memory. I've got more since then, but that was my first best memory, or best time of my life memories. But if I'm going with childhood, maybe there was this one time when my friend and I, back up. Across the road from us, at my childhood home, the house across the road from us, I grew up in the sticks, right? So lots of trees and hills and grass, and they had a creek in their yard, and we were allowed to go over there and play in their yard. Like, it was a huge yard. They couldn't even see us from their house, at the bottom of the creek. So they would let us go there for picnics and all that kind of stuff and just play. And one time I went there with my friend, and we were just, exploring, and we started following the creek and going through blackberries and this tunnel of trees and bushes and scrub. And I'd never done anything like that before. Again, I'm like the most cautious, reserved person, safety rules, rule following child, never had a rebellious stage, don't understand rebellion. I love rules. And so going on this adventure where I'm like, I don't know where this creek leads, and it's dark, and it's, we could end up at a dead end, or we could get lost, and no one knows that. Well, they would know we were at the creek, but they wouldn't know where we were going. And so there was part of me that was like, is this okay? Are we allowed to do this? But of course we were okay. Parents totally okay. Family totally okay with that kind of thing. The way we grew up. Anyway, and because it was all just, the neighborhood. So we're following this creek, and it just felt so fun and adventurous and this mystery, and we're like, where are we going to end up? And then we finally ended up at this, what's called the Big Dipper, and it's like this really large hill where you go down. When you drive down it, your stomach gets butterflies when you do the dip, when you go down and then up. I'm not sure if I'm explaining that right, but anyway, and we came out of the Big Dipper and we're like, this is where we are. And the whole time we're like, we should walk back this way because it's so fun, but it was hard work. We're bushwalking. We've got to like break the branches and push branches away to get through. Like, it was thick scrub. That's why I mean, like, we didn't know if we would even make it all the way through. And then, the childhood fears of like, oh my goodness, are we going to be able to get back? Like, are we going to get stuck? What's going to happen? But then we came out and we're like, no, let's just walk back. It's just going to be much easier if we just walk the road back home. And that's what we did. So, but I feel like that was just like my adventurous childhood moment. Next question or request: I would love to see more Daphne's Diary videos and anything vintage journals, so done that. Lots of Daphne's Diary videos on my channel, and always will be, I think, because I love introducing Daphne's Diary to people. So I've got my making Daphne's Diary journals, using my Daphne's Diary journals, using my planner, and of course I've made vintage journals since this request as well, and will continue to make vintage journals. Where are you from and what is your favourite pet? So I'm from Melbourne, the eastern suburbs of Melbourne in the Dandenongs. That's where I was raised, grew up. I would say I'm born and raised there, but I was born in South Korea. I was adopted at 4 months old though, so came to Australia when I was 4 months old. So for all intents and purposes, I was pretty much born in Australia. I don't know a single thing about Korea. I don't know a single word in Korean. I'm Aussie through and through. So I just say I'm like, born and raised in Australia and in Melbourne. But now I live in Queensland. She also says, what is your favourite pet? Oh, well, I don't like to compare my pets, but I have to go with my dog. I've only ever had 2 pets myself. All the other pets were like family pets. So I only I did have rabbits and I had budgies, but yeah, like nothing really compares with a dog. Dog is the ultimate. I love dogs. I'm definitely a dog person. I've been known as the dog whisperer. And so I had a dog for 10 years. Her name was Diva. And she was my absolute joy. Loved her. She was my best friend. And the thing about dogs is they just love you. They wait for you at the door and they are excited to see you, and she would just sleep on my lap. She was a lap dog, which is what I love. She was a lap dog and she would always just spend time with me. Of course, Keanu is my current favourite pet, and I have become a cat person, but if you had to make me choose, it's a no-brainer. I'm a dog person. I will always be dogs over cats. No-brainer to me. But that doesn't mean I'm not a cat person. I don't love cats. I do now, and I do love Keanu, and he does give me so much joy and is such a wonderful companion, but he's not a lap cat. Maybe if I had a lap cat, it would be different, but he's quite independent. He has his moments. He does have when he's affectionate, he's super affectionate. He's like 100% affectionate when he's affectionate, but when he's not, he's off doing his own thing. And so I would like 100% affectionate. I want on my lap 24/7, but no, I am grateful for at least when he is affectionate, it's like at 11. So I definitely love my beautiful cat. So glad that I have him. He's the thing I'm most thankful for pretty much in my life where I am up here. And so definitely love my Keanu. So I would say he's my favourite pet. But love my dog Diva too that I had. I don't know if any pet could compare with her ever, because she was just the perfect dog for me. She was always looking forward to seeing me. She was always sitting on my lap, always wanted to be around me, and So anyway, maybe I definitely do want to have a dog again in the future, and that would be wonderful. Dog and cat, that would be great. Anyway, next question or request is, would like to see a video on how to make normal copy paper look old and worn out. So the only way I do that really is, for me, coffee dyeing. So I do have videos on how I coffee dye, sharing my process. And I guess other people might use distress inks. They might... Oh, here's Keanu right now. I love my crafty kitty. I love that he does like spending time with me on my desk. What was I saying? Oh, some people might like scrunch up paper to have it all crinkled, and they might distress it using distress ink. You could definitely do that. You could maybe burn it. That's everyone's done that at some stage, haven't they? Burnt paper at the edges to make it look old and all that kind of thing. But for me, yeah, I'm not really going for the old and worn out look, I suppose, because I'm not into grungy, really. That's not my style at all. Love my kitty cat. So when I do my coffee dye pages, I'm just looking for that nice colour, beautiful colour. Look at him. Look, he's come to say hello. So cute. Laura says she still wants to see more Daphne's Diary ideas, and she says, what I love about your channel has been how to write in my journal. Love that. Again, music to my ears. That's the best thing you could say to me, is getting you to use your journals. Beautiful. Love that. And so I specifically did a video for you, Laura, the one with making envelopes and pockets out of Daphne's Diary pages. So I hope you enjoyed that video. Jennifer says, how old is Keanu now? And she'll watch any videos I do. So Jennifer is another super fan. Really appreciate all her beautiful comments. And Keanu is 4 years old. He'll be 5 in around February next year. Next question is, I have made many journals, but I would love a video on some tips on how to actually use them. I love the process of creating the journals, but I have some sort of hesitation to actually using them. Sounds silly. No, not silly. I hear this a lot from people. And I was thinking of filming a video, titled something like tips on how to use junk journals. So I've actually wanted to do that for quite a while. It's just going to be a very labor intensive video, because obviously there's so many ways to use a journal, and I'm going to want to show different examples, and there's just a lot to cover in that sort of video. So I've always wanted to do one. I just keep putting it off, I guess. But stay tuned next year. I will do my best to meet that request with tips to how to actually use them. But what I usually say to that is journaling prompts. Use journaling prompts as your way in. And you can get those on any channel. Like, a lot of people have journaling prompts. It's free prompts, just Google them. And of course, things like journal courses. I take journal courses because they help me to work in my own journals. And then I love teaching journal courses to help others use their journals. Would you consider doing a Q&A video showing your face? There's another request for that. She says she would love to put a face to the voice. Again, I already answered that one. For now, it's only on, and maybe forever, it will only be on my Patreon, and members will see video footage of my face. In fact, I filmed another video today. I redid my gallery wall, which was another video request. A lovely lady asked me to show my gallery wall of all the meaningful pieces that I've collected over the years on my wall. And today, as I was cleaning and redecorating and doing my room, I literally spent the whole day doing that. The first things I did was took down all of my pieces from my gallery wall to revamp it and rearrange it and swap out some things. Just because, when it stays the same, it becomes familiar. It can become familiar. You don't look at it the same way anymore, or you aren't excited about I can't talk. I've been going too long. I'm not excited about it the way you were before. So I rearranged it and I'm looking at it right now and I'm loving it. So anyway, one of the members' videos that I filmed, I shared me kind of stripping the wall and putting things back up. So you see sort of glimpses of my face in that members video. And then for the full video, you just see my gallery wall that I will put up on my channel at some stage. I still have to do all the voiceovers for those 2 videos. Okay, let me get up, scroll up with more questions. A video using napkins. I met your request and have got that video up on my channel for you. Okay, now I'm just going to loop this video because there's still more questions and video requests to get through. And this person asks, what is your favorite hobby besides crafting? Oh, that would be probably at the moment reading. I've always been a big book lover and been loving reading since I was a child. And so, yeah, reading, but I also love writing and also watching movies too. Okay, the next question is, can you show how to keep the pages from warping and showing glue through the pages? I don't think I've had a problem with warping before, so I'm not sure I can help with that one. In terms of glue, again, I don't tend to have a problem with that. I guess it might depend on what type of paper you use. If you use like super thin paper, obviously the glue is going to maybe show through, so I'd recommend use thicker paper for that. Maybe it's the type of glue you're using. I'm not sure what type of glue you're using because I either use a Bostik glue stick or clear craft glue and don't tend to have a problem with it showing through unless, like I said, it was with thinner paper. But a little tip, I guess, is well, obviously find the right type of glue and find the right papers that you want to use. But if you do have glue showing through, perfect opportunity to decorate the page, embellish it, cover it with something to jazz it up. And I've often found whenever I've gotten too glue happy, it's forced me to add something and it's always made it better and I've liked it more. So it's really cool how it forces you to get creative. Do you ever make journals with family pictures like a scrapbook but with pages out of books and magazines? No. For me, I don't like people in my journals. I know that's a big thing that lots of people love, like the paper dolls or the Tim Holtz dolls. I kind of find them creepy, so that's not something I like using. I find it a bit odd having strangers' faces in my journals. So not for me, but if that's something that you love doing, go for it. Definitely. That sounds like a great idea. That sounds like the perfect idea if you're into those kind of things. I do like using vintage photographs, but it's not usually like a cutout person. And I prefer like group photographs or like landscape photos or action shots where they're not just staring at you kind of thing. But yeah, I have made concept journals though, where I create sort of like a story or imagine a story of the person whose journal it is and incorporate pieces in that journal to kind of tell their story, sort of like a scrapbook for them. And I might include pictures to represent the people in those types of journals and include pictures of their, aunt or uncle or grandparents or spouse or kids as part of that story that I create. So I've done those kinds of things. Next question or request or comment is, I like videos that show the making of things, so just want more of that. Awesome. Got plenty of that and done more for this request on my channel. Maybe if you haven't done it already, showing the process from beginning to end of choosing a theme, finding the things to fit that theme, and then making it. So I have shared a couple of videos for this request. showing how I gather my supplies, how I go from idea to execution, making the journal. So how I gather ephemera or colours, or a theme to fit with a journal. I did one for showing how I was making a secret garden journal, and there was another one too. I can't remember which one it was for. Maybe a botanical journal or a vintage French journal. And the question is that this lady asks is there a theme you have not yet done for a journal that you would like to do? Well, I have done fairy journals in the past, but there's a specific type of fairy journal that I haven't done before that I really want to do. I was hoping to get around to it this year, but hoping I'll get to it next year. And that's is it Shirley Baker, and the Cecily, no, I'm probably getting the name wrong. Cecily, the author, I'm getting the name wrong, but some of you might know who I'm talking about. There's two authors that I kind of, Shirley Barber, I think, is one of them. They're the ones that I've already done. But there's another one, Cecily May Baker or something like that. And she does the most gorgeous flower fairy illustrations. And I really want to get a whole collection of her books to make a big collection of fairy journals, or maybe even just get one book of hers would be enough, and make a small collection of flower fairy journals. So that's the theme I would love to do, flower fairy journals. And I would also love to do the vintage linen journals. I've made a few in the past, I think, just dabbling with using them in different ways, but I want to do a whole collection somehow using vintage linens. I'm not sure how yet, whether I have to cut them up and patchwork them, or if somehow make fabric covers and wrap them around the spine. That's why I haven't tackled that yet. I was hoping to do that again this year, but I still don't feel like I'm ready to make that one yet because I don't have the skills or the confidence yet. It's intimidating, but one day I'd love to tackle that. That would be a huge project though, because I've got so many linens, so many. It's a bit overwhelming. Anyway, next request is I would like more on French journals and where you feel this will advance your business. So you're in luck, since this request I have made that vintage French document journal from start to finish on my channel, so I hope you enjoyed that one. How you feel it will advance your business. That's not something that I've thought about, and I don't necessarily think it will advance my business. I just make journals and hope that people like them. I make the vintage French journals because I like them. I don't make them because I feel like they will advance my business. All my things that I make them because I like them. I make them because it's what I'm inspired to create, and I just hope that other people like them. If they don't, then I have wonderful gifts to give to people. Or she says, I am a patron, a member, enjoying your journals. Thank you so much, lovely Jeanette. That is so great to hear that you enjoy my journals. Love that. And finally, we're up to the last question, and this comes from Elizabeth. Congratulations on your 15k mark. That's so amazing. Thank you so much. She says, did you ever think that would be a reality for you? Well, I didn't even think I'd be on YouTube. So some of you know this story. I wasn't really into YouTube ever. The only way I ever watched YouTube was if I Googled something and the answer came up through a YouTube video. I wasn't one of those people who just watched YouTube for the sake of watching videos on YouTube. But slowly, as I got used to Google popping up the YouTube videos, that would lead me, to the rabbit hole with the recommended videos, and you get lost that way. And it was through that I discovered junk journals, and that's when I finally subscribed to my first channels, which were junk journal channels. And through that, I was inspired to create my own channel because I didn't have anyone in my real life who knew about junk journals, who understood it, liked it. The only community that I found that liked junk journals and talked about it was, you know, in the online world and on YouTube. Obviously, that's where I discovered it. And so I was like, I want to be in this world. I want to be part of this community. I want to share what I'm making because I just love it so much. And I was just so filled with joy, wanting to share my creations. And I hoped, yeah, as well, if I started a channel that maybe people would be inspired by my journals and make their own ones. And if they liked my journals and wanted to buy them, bonus. So that is what happened, and who knew that it would end up becoming my business, my full-time job. Never in a million years would I have thought that was going to happen. Didn't think I'd be on YouTube. Didn't even want to be on YouTube at the start. I remember when my friends were telling me that they watched YouTube and were subscribed to all these channels, and I didn't understand what they're talking about. I was like, what does it mean to be a subscriber? I don't even know what that means. And what do you mean you watch videos? What kind of stuff do you watch? I just didn't get it. So I had absolutely zero desire to enter the YouTube world, let alone start a channel. And, you know, of course, I only discovered junk journals in 2017. So I didn't know this is what I'd be doing for a living, making journals. Although I can say I've always been a lifelong journaler, and I did always want to, or for a long time wanted to learn how to make journals. But I thought I'd learn how to make, you know, just the normal blank journals. I always wanted to eventually do things like that, make my own journals, maybe even have my own stationery line, because I'm a journaler. I know what I like, and wanted to create what I like to use in terms of stationery. But yeah, then I discovered junk journals, and I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know you could make journals that don't have plain pages. And then I started making them, and it was, the rest is history. So here I am today, and it's crazy. Like, yeah, I still kind of have to pinch myself. And when I talk about with my friends and family, they're always in awe too. They're always like, can you believe you're doing this? And I'm like, no. They don't believe it either, and I don't believe it. It's like, this is crazy. But I'm super, super thankful. And she also asks, do you use stencils, and in what way? I've used stencils very, very rarely. The way that I have used them was just getting some distress ink and decorating a page with like a leaf pattern or something like that. Not my favourite thing to do. I gave away my stencils in the end. So I would like to dabble in, because I now am more into mixed media and collage for my personal art journaling, would maybe want to try stencils again with maybe texture paste. But I don't know, it's not high on my priority list. So anyway, that is a very, very, very long video. For anyone who's stuck around this long, you are a super fan. If you're one of them, please leave a comment and write somewhere in your comment, super fan. I would love to catch all you super fans and really thank you and know who you are. Because I know what it's like to be a super fan. I'm a super fan of Psychology and Settle, and for them to acknowledge me as a super fan just feels like, oh, I feel seen. This feels so good. So if you're a super fan, one of those people who watches every type of video, watches to the end, let me know. And I want to shout you out. And thank you so much to everyone who entered the giveaway, who gave me a question or a video request. I love questions, and I call it my love language. So if you ever have a question, feel free anytime to ask in a comment or in an email. If you have ever a video request, feel free to leave it in a comment or an email. And maybe next year I'm looking to do some sort of like get to know me Q&A. I was going to do that 2 years ago actually. One lady was like, yeah, please do that, and I was like, oh, okay, I will, and then I never did. So I'm like, oh my goodness. So I hope to eventually do that in 2024 and collate all your most asked questions for that, and continue meeting video requests and all that kind of thing. So if you have any of those at any time, I have this vision of my channel regularly answering your questions and regularly meeting video requests, and having you guys be part of this channel and shaping it and having a say in it, that kind of thing, because it's this community, right? I love, who knew that, willow bound journals would be a thing, and in the lives, the ladies dubbed themselves the Willow Ladies, and I was like, that's so sweet. I love that. So this Willow community has just added so much to my life and been so good for just even my well-being, and so lovely to meet like-minded and like-hearted people. So thank you for being part of this Willow community. It means so much to me, and since this is Christmas Eve and now it is 12:21 a.m. on Christmas Day, yes, I'm a night owl. This is usual for me. I'm up this late, don't worry. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to all of you. I hope you have a wonderful Christmas, and I'm thinking of you, and hope you have a wonderful time with friends or family or even strangers. I know some of us welcome strangers over to our houses, or we're the stranger going to someone else's house who's inviting us. I'm a bit in that boat. I've been invited to a family's place for Christmas this year, as I'm not in Melbourne, so a little bit sad for me because I'm away from my family in Melbourne this year, but thankful for this family that has taken me in and this other family that has welcomed us into their house for Christmas this year. So I welcome you through the screen, and want to wish you a warm Christmas as well. So as always, I will see you guys in the next video. Who supported me Bye. In the month of November. If you would like to become a patron and get access to my journal making series videos and other videos and printables and every single digital kit from my Etsy, you can click the Patreon link down below in the description box to join that. If you would like to become a YouTube member where you get access to extra videos and member requested videos right here on YouTube, not over on my Patreon website, then there is a join button you can click below this video but above the description box. And if you're looking for some journaling inspiration or something to kickstart your journaling, I also have a whole bunch of journaling courses, including the Intentional Life course, and that I run all year long for anyone who would like to join. So the information is down below for that in the description box as well. And those are all different ways that you can support what I do here over on YouTube and with Willow Bound Journals.